I thank the International Energy Agency and its Executive Director, Dr. Fatih Birol, for convening this important summit. Cooking fuels are fueling crises. Globally, over 2 billion people, most of them poor, are forced to rely on cooking methods that make them sick, hobble sustainable development, and add to climate chaos.
And the main thing we them be try for explain is the way and manner at which women and pikin and they die because of the way and manner at which then they cook in Africa. Because most of them then depend on wood and coal and other means for they cook their meals them for lay the family go eat. Through that, now they then can get them disease them like respiratory diseases them. We very, very hazardous to them health. Hello, my family. Baba Sheikh, the political offender, with another edition of the program Do Don't Clean. Well, my family, I just want to give you a rundown of President Bio in visits na France on the 14th to the 16th of May this year. Well, President Bio be going to France because of the International Energy Agency, IEA, the oldest summit where they call Clean Cooking in Africa. President Bio na be one of the keynote speakers them and that summit day. And he be meet with world leaders them way be pledge them commitment to clean cooking for them we able for save women them and picking them na Africa because of the way and manner at which then they cook. And plenty people them be the misinformed people them at the media on the invitation where President Bio be get for go attend that particular summit day na Paris, France. But for the benefit of the one them we not be understand, we be believe on the misinformation, that is the reason why I come up with this particular program in order for the one them we believe on the misinformation, let them know exactly what in President Bio be go do na France. We myself be present today as a freelance media personality. Well, President Bio be there amongst other world leaders them like the executive director of the International Energy Agency, IEA, and the president of Tanzania, the president of African Development Bank, the UN Secretary General, and more of other world leaders them. When we find them, these are some of the statements them where the world leaders them be give on that particular summit day, including President Bio.
Good morning, Presidents, Mr. Prime Minister, Excellencies, dear colleagues, a very good morning to all of you. A warm welcome, a very warm welcome to our summit on clean cooking in Africa. This is a great day for the International Energy Agency, and I am sure for my co-chairs to host so many of you here today. But let me first introduce my fellow co-chairs, Her Excellency President Hassan of Tanzania, His Excellency Prime Minister of Støre of Norway, and President Adesina of the African Development Bank. Dear colleagues, we have over 1,000 people here in this room today, and thousands of people are following this event live, and we have high-level representatives from over 60 countries, most of them being from Africa. I would like to welcome all of you, the leaders, ministers, chief executives, and other delegates who travel from all countries across 5 continents to discuss and to come out with some concrete results from our summit on clean cooking in Africa. Dear colleagues, why the International Energy Agency is helping to organize such an event? At the IEA, we are a data organization. We collect data, we study data. And since 25 years, we have been collecting data on the clean cooking issue across the world, since 25 years. And we publish this data every year in our annual report, World Energy Outlook, the reference book for the global energy industry, looking at what is happening in the world. And when we look at the numbers, it was a global issue, a problem, but it is becoming a problem more and more focused on sub-Saharan Africa. According to our numbers, dear colleagues, today, still, 4 out of 5 families use open fire or basic stoves for preparing a meal. And the fumes, the toxins coming from cooking practices are causing respiratory diseases, especially for women and children. And each year, more than 500,000 people, mainly women and children, die prematurely because of the respiratory diseases because of these cooking practices.
Excellency Co-Chairs, President Julius Maada Bio of Sierra Leone, other heads of state and government, Excellencies, representatives of heads of state and government, honorable ministers, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is fitting that we are convened in this UNESCO hall today, both because clean cooking means science, technology, and innovation, and because Tanzania enjoys a historic commitment to environmental conservation while promoting societal well-being. With protected areas encompassing 1/3 of its land, including 7 World Heritage Sites, with clean cooking, Tanzania's story of conservation, harmony, and responsibility continues. Clean cooking is about a just energy transition, and it's also about positively impacting our people, our planet, and our environment. It should therefore be a priority agenda for Africa. I, in this regard, commend the International Energy Agency for declaring 2024 the Year of Clean Cooking and for convening this summit. I also commend Dr. Birol and the co-chairs for their unwavering dedication. And I appreciate everyone here for honoring the invitation to discuss on ensuring clean cooking access for all.
Thank you, co-chairs and excellencies, all of you. May I call you champions for a healthier and more sustainable world. It was an easy question, Dr. Birol, and I'd like to salute you. This is really leadership at the top level, cutting through bureaucratic talk and going for action. I think this is an excellent initiative. We need more of them. And it's really combining the big picture, as I see it, as we deal with at summits and at COPs and other major events, to talk about sustainable energy, reaching our climate objectives. Are we on track? And then this very practical approach of how do we prepare our daily meals. We all have to do that. And we have this shocking fact that cooking your daily meal is a dangerous thing for millions and millions of people. So I believe this is a real opportunity, and you mentioned, Dr. Birol, all the different dimensions that come together, and I can subscribe to all of them. I believe that this summit is about one of those problems where we can tell the world community we can fix it. It is possible to deal with it when so many other issues are complex. It's a unique opportunity to prevent millions of premature deaths, to cut emissions, reduce biodiversity loss, and to improve productivity and create economic growth. But as you said, it's a gender issue, and it's really also about making life better for millions of women and children.
Thank you very much, my dear brother, Dr. Birol. Thank you to all your excellencies, the co-chairs. Your Excellency, President Samia Suluhu Hassan, my dear sister, President of the United Republic of Tanzania. Your Excellency, President Bio, President of the Republic of Sierra Leone. Your Excellency Faure Gnassingbé, President of the Republic of Togo. Your Excellency, Prime Minister Jonas Støre of Norway, and thank you for all the great leadership that you provide, even on our joint effort on the Global Alliance on Energy for People and the Planet. And of course, my dear brother, Dr. Faith Birol, the Executive Director of the International Energy Agency. Your Excellencies, heads of international organizations, honorable ministers, business leaders, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It gives me great delight to welcome you all to the Summit on Clean Cooking in Africa. Please permit me, I will be speaking both as President of the African Development Bank, but as somebody who suffered a lot from the consequences of lack of clean cooking as a kid. It's a great honor to co-chair this summit with Our Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the Republic of Tanzania, His Excellency John Gahr Støre, Prime Minister of Norway, Dr. Faith Birol, Executive Director of the International Energy Agency. Thank you all for honoring our invitation. I'm delighted that the COP29 President-designate is here with us today. This means that what we are discussing today will shape COP29 agenda and our discussion on energy transition globally. This momentous summit is the largest ever gathering of leaders and decision makers dedicated to confronting the urgent issue of lack of access to clean cooking in Africa. It is very timely, and it must be decisive. It is shocking that 1.2 billion people in Africa, that means basically 1.2 billion women, do not have access to clean cooking solutions. They rely on biomass for wood and charcoal to cook. These hardworking women who cook for their families and their girls spend several hours looking for and collecting firewood and charcoal. With bent backs, they carry loads of firewood and charcoal and walk several kilometers just to be able to cook a decent meal for their families, things we all take for granted. And how can this be? Why must we allow such a thing to happen? Africa loses 600,000 women and children annually from the effects of secondary smoke from partial combustion of biomass, firewood, and charcoal. And that means we will lose 6 million people in 10 years if we don't change that. And that's not acceptable. It's estimated globally that the health cost alone from impaired health is in the order of $1.4 trillion, according to the International Energy Agency, with over half of that, $700 billion, being in Africa. As a kid, I'm not wearing glasses just because I went to university or anything like that. I started wearing as a kid because I spent most of my time collecting firewood and charcoal and blowing into the stoves.
Thank you very much, Fatih. Your Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Your Excellency President Faure Gnassingbé, President of the Republic of Togo, Your Excellency Jonas Gahr Støre, Prime Minister of Norway, my brother Dr. Akiwumi Adesina, President of the African Development Bank Group, Dr. Faith Birol, Executive Director of the International Energy Agency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be here this morning to participate in this very historic, first ever global summit on clean cooking in Africa. I am particularly heartened that my dear sister, President Samia Hassan, is co-chairing this summit along three distinguished individuals: the Prime Minister of Norway, Dr. Adesina, and Dr. Biro, whose leadership and commitment to this cause are truly, truly commendable. Thank you for your commitment. I wish to commend the International Energy Agency and the African Development Bank Group for convening the summit. The urgency of our task is underscored by the IEA's analysis, which reveals that nearly 1 in 5 Africans still cook their meals over open fires and traditional stoves. Shockingly, 900 million Africans lack access to clean cooking fuels, a number that is projected to increase by 2030 if we do not act swiftly and decisively. Regrettably, our past experience have revealed a disheartening truth. Clean cooking, a matter of utmost importance, is often overlooked in our energy access and electrification planning process in our various countries. Today's summit is a call to action, a plea to prioritize this crucial matter for the betterment of our people and our planet.
Excellencies, friends, I thank the International Energy Agency and its Executive Director, Dr. Fatih Birol, for convening this important summit. Cooking fuels are fueling crises. Globally, over 2 billion people, most of them poor, are forced to rely on cooking methods that make them sick, hobble sustainable development, and add to climate chaos. Without action, more than 1 billion people in sub-Saharan Africa alone will still not have access to clean cooking by 2030. This is bad for women and girls, who are often responsible for collecting fuels for preparing meals. It is bad for health. Indoor pollution, including from fires and stoves, kills over 3 million people every year, with women and children most at risk. And it's bad for the climate. Domestic fires add to the pollution, causing the world to overheat, with devastating effects for the world's poorest, who have done the least to cause the crisis. Reversing these injustices must be a global priority. We need urgent action to give everyone, everywhere, access to clean cooking. We have a recipe for success, our global roadmap for just and inclusive clean cooking transition. The United Nations roadmap charts a path to universal access to clean cooking by 2030 and net zero cooking by 2050. I urge you all to put it into practice and to ensure finance is available for sustainable development and climate action, including clean cooking. Developed countries must honor their climate finance commitments, and all countries must push for a strong finance outcome at COP29 this year. And I urge you to support United Nations proposals for an SDG stimulus of $500 billion a year, including action on debt to scale up affordable long-term financing for countries in need. Together, let's clean up cooking and create a healthier, safer, more equal world for us all.
Well, we all know here some of the world leaders, them waiting and talk, and the main thing we them be try for explain is the way and manner at which women and pikin they die because of the way and manner at which then they cook in Africa. Because most of them then depend on wood and coal and other means for they cook their meals them for lay the family go eat. Through that, now they then can get them disease them like respiratory diseases them. We very, very hazardous to them health. And not just woman them, also pikin them, because we all know say when we mama them say the cook. we the pikin them can dey around. Now we then can ask for the blow fire, where the wood can want hot. Now we then can ask for do this and do that. So not just the woman, even the pikin themselves can be victims. And then smoke and the way the wood, coal and other means they can use for cook the produce. So that is the reason why world leaders, they all come together in order for lay them who try for eliminate the way and manner at which women then they cook na Africa. When we family them, this is not just a short clip on how the woman them and them picking them the suffer na Africa, the way and manner at which they can cook, where they can use wood, coal, stove and other things them where they pull smoke. And whether in a particular smoke, then they make them get respiratory diseases them, where not can make them they live long. And we only agree where the world leaders them they talk the number of women them where they die yearly because of the way and manner at which they cook. So that is why they introduce this clean cooking in Africa in order for lay them able for save the lives of women and picking them. Well, these are some of the display of the clean cooking method them where they encounter it for display at the summit. So these are some of the things them way then they introduce in order for lay go then Africa for lay then go stop this unclean cooking method in Africa. And the world leaders them always be present for this particular clean cooking in Africa summit. They all be committed for support this particular project. And President Bio be hold some bilateral meetings them with high profile personalities them na Paris. And he be hold a meeting with the president of France, where that particular meeting is now for tightening the relationship between France and Salon. Well, this now for the benefit of the one them where them be don't misinformed na the media for say President Bio go na Paris, France for go pan cooking summit. The summit where go pan na for save lives, for save with mama and with picking and lives them because of the way and manner at which then they cook na Africa. So I hope say this one will go down well to the one them way them be convinced for say President Bio na other thing he can do na Paris. So mi family, until next time, this na Baba Check the Political Offender with another edition of the program Do Don't Clean. Na me dey say tata. Peace.